Welcome to my show. I'm Shelly Bond. One of my many roles is a mama, a healer, a spiritual practitioner, a yogi, a soul sister, and a forever learner and grower on this planet and this thing called life. One of my many dharmas, my life's purpose, is to bring as much love and healing to the world as possible. I've created this space as a connecting point for women to bring us together, to have the hard talks, to share these raw, vulnerable pieces of ourselves, and to know that you are not alone. I'm right here with you walking this path. I love you. Hello, my beautiful soul sisters. Are we all just overly exhausted and overly worked? Last night, my son, as usual, was one of my greatest teachers. We were laying in bed, and I had this freak out moment probably about an hour before that because Milo and Jack have been just fighting and name calling, but with cuss words, and they're flipping each other off, and then they punch each other. And Jack just got braces, and his face is all sensitive, but his brother doesn't care and is whacking him in the face. And I had this moment where I was like, "What? Stop it!" And I just felt like a shithead, and I'm like, "What is happening in the world, in my family?" And I got Jack in bed last night, and then Milo is laying there, and I come up to snuggle him for our bedtime snuggles, and he goes, "Mom, I feel like you're like the mom from The Grinch, if you've seen the new Grinch. You're just always working and doing so many things, and you never relax or rest." And I was like, "Oh, buddy, that's the job of a mom. I gotta do the things. If I don't do the things, they don't get done." And then when he said that, it just soaked in. And I was like, I don't rest. I don't really, I do my yoga practice and my meditation practice. And that is my saving grace. And if I choose, I will get a second meditation practice. But honestly, for years, I have not been giving myself that afternoon time. I am definitely a grinder and a pusher and a doer. And if you are a mom, it's there's just always something to do. And I had my nephew up here, and Jack and Junie both got braces on Monday. And if you've had braces, I haven't had braces since I was 16, so forever ago. But they hurt. It hurts your jaw, it hurts your gums, it hurts your teeth to bite, it hurts to smile, it hurts your lips get cut up and swollen, and Jack's gums are bleeding, but he won't put the beeswax on. So I let Jack stay home from school, and Junie was home from school, and my nephew, and I had 3 kids home. And right, they're just all making messes, and it's just there's always something to do. It's always constant. And then in the background, I'm really excited about this, is my 300-hour teacher training that to add on top of my 200-hour teacher training. I got done a big assignment, 2 big assignments finally. I got them done and submitted, but not after a lot of technical difficulty for days, and there was so much frustration. And then I noticed that I create a lot of anxiety inside of me when I know that I have a lot of things to do, and then I feel like I have failed if I don't get them done on my expectations. I can be really hard on myself. And that happened. And then it was crazy. So last night, Milo said that. When he said that, I went to get on my YouTube channel. I usually put these piano and relaxing rain sounds for my boys to sleep with. And my YouTube channel just disappeared. Awaken You Healing Center, that used to be Yoga Bliss with Shelly, that I've had for 5 years, and I have 500 videos. It literally disappeared, and it said that my age was not verified, or that I was not old enough to have a YouTube channel. I think somehow maybe my daughter put her birthday in there, and Google literally shut down my website or my YouTube channel. And it was this huge, crushing moment where I was like, no, all of my work over the last 5 years, oh my God. And I was trying to figure it out, and Google kept signing me out and then asking me verification codes, and then it was asking for a credit card or an ID. And then I was thinking, is this a scam? What's happening? But literally, I went onto YouTube from my desktop, my laptop, and Awaken You Healing Center is just gone. Yoga Bliss with Shelly, all the classes just like deleted, like not even anywhere to be found. And I was like, just had that crushing like defeat. Like, what the fuck now? Like, what is this? Like, what is the sign here? What is the sign, universe? And and then I actually did like submit my photo ID, which part of me was like, I shouldn't have to submit my photo ID. I don't want that information online, but I did. And now my YouTube channel is back and it's awake. And I was like, holy shit. And I feel like we have to take these moments where things like that happen, even with Milo saying that to me about not resting and my YouTube channel getting shut down. It's like, what is the message here from the universe? Because truly everything is a teacher for us, even in the most difficult times. But the thing is in the most difficult times, it's like, right, that's the darkness that most of us are afraid of exploring and being in the darkness and feeling what it feels like. And most of the time, you have to kind of become aware, or if you can become aware of what is the deep seated underlying program of I'm not worthy. So it's like, oh God, I'm not worthy. I didn't do it right. I always mess up. I never can do anything right. I'm not worthy. Same thing with Milo. It's like when he said that to me, Mom, you never rest. I like felt that in that moment. I felt just like I'm so exhausted. And it was 7:30 at night. And Rex went skiing all day yesterday in Winter Park. So he was like gone the whole day. And he said he'd be home around 8:30. And I was like, there's no way I can make it until 8:30. And then rewind a little bit. I had a dental appointment or a hygienist cleaning appointment. And over the last 4 years, I've had this one tooth in the far back that my gum line has been just like receding. Like now I have like bone loss in the freaking tooth. And it's like really bad apparently. And I've been sending like so much love and so much healing, but this one tooth, and my hygienist is like so sweet, and just like I really have this like spiritual soul connection with her. And she was like, you might want to see a periodontist and maybe get a surgical procedure where they can do something and like tack up your gum line or something, or get your tooth pulled. It's like my worst nightmare. Like, have you ever had those dreams where you lose your teeth and then you just have no teeth and you're like, I know it's just one tooth and it sounds like kind of petty and that it doesn't matter, but it does. I just like, at bedtime too, it was like all of that in the day and Milo and then the YouTube thing. And I was like, I have to go to bed. I can't do today anymore. I need to go to sleep. And it was like trying to send my gum like love and healing, but it wasn't enough. Is it ever enough? It's like, I think maybe that is one of the programmings too. It's like that we're not doing enough. I think as moms, especially if like you're a stay-at-home mom, like stay-at-home mom is like my main job, but I do all of my side hustle, my yoga classes and my podcast and all of this stuff too. But like that is my main thing. And I think that it's like the subconscious programming is like we're never doing enough, and there's always something to be done. I will always remember being a little girl. I would go up on the weekends to my grandparents' cabin in Crystal Lakes, like an hour out of city limits from Fort Collins, like north of town, past Red Feather Lakes. And my grandparents had this lovely, like A-frame log cabin, and it was like my escape. And I remember just looking out the windows and like feeling all the energy of the trees. In the meanwhile, though, we were in the car with my grandpa, who was like a severe chain smoker. So we were just like in a cloud of smoke with the window rolled down like an inch. And my grandma just like reading all of her dirty Fabio magazines, or not magazines, books. She literally had in the loft of their house, they had, so they built, my grandpa built this A-frame cabin, and it was like tiny and adorable. And it was small though. It was like you walked in and they had like this kind of like roofed in mud room that had two deep freezers with like all the meat and all their food, because they lived out in the boonies and there was no stores up there. And then you walked in, there was a little sliver kitchen And there was like a nice little space for a long kitchen table, and they had their little living space. And then back to the back, they had two really small bedrooms, and everything was made out of logs and wood, and a tiny bathroom, like a little toilet, a little shower, and a sink. And it said, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. So you really had to like, yeah, they were on like septic, and like they had to haul water in and out. And then upstairs, so you would like kind of come through that hallway and come past the back side of the living room, and you walk up pretty steep stairs because it's like, so you think of like the A-frame cabin, so it's like the tippity point. So like the living room and the kitchen were all open to that big ceiling, and then they made kind of like a loft, and they had like a queen size bed. I don't know if they had two. I think they had one queen size bed, and then they had four sets of, no, would it be two sets of twin beds? Four sets of twin beds. So there was like two twin beds on the right side, two on the left. And then behind the door was like this bookshelf. It was like rows of like, probably like 7 rows of books, shelves that were filled with books. And they were my grandma's books. And my grandparents, they owned a topper company called Capit Covers. Capit Covers. My grandpa started building toppers for trucks, and it's actually still in Fort Collins on Mulberry Street. And they would drive an hour up and down, maybe even longer, 6 days a week. So my grandma would just read. She would read all of the time. And so back up to the loft, there was all of these dirty books, like rows and rows, and my sisters and I would grab the books and open them and be like, his throbbing penis, and be like, or the ripped open shirt. You know what I'm talking about? It like brought back memories. And this time of year, of course, right? The holidays are creeping up. We're like T minus like 2 weeks away. It's like the 15th of December, 2022. Crazy. December 25th is creeping up. That's 10 days away. Is that really? That's 10 days away. It's not even 2 weeks away. And I have this tree that when my grandma got sick, she lived in this like yucky nursing home. It was a really yucky nursing home. It was really sad. But Jack and I, when he was really little, we went and helped her set up her little white tree. It was like a white, kind of like LED tree that like changes colors, like blue and red and green and maybe purple. And then it just rotates. And Jackie and I helped her decorate this tree. And it was like the Christmas when she seemed like she was really well, but her name was Gigi. Her name is Joan Perryman. And she, at like the end of the season, Jack and I came and we helped her take down all the decorations and take down the tree. And she just loved Jack. Like Jack loved her so much. And I was going to like put it away for her. And she's like, no, you take it. This is my last Christmas. And I was like, no, wait, this is not your last Christmas. Don't say that. I'm not taking it. She's like, please take this tree. And now we have our tree. And it's interesting when people pass away. It's like you almost like all the bad and all the shit melts away. And then you just like can embody and just imagine like all of their love and all of like the good parts of their selves. And that's what it is. And this morning when I woke up early, I like went to bed so early. I woke up at 5:30 and I'm like, I'm ready to be awake. And it was just like pitch dark and I see Gigi's tree and I actually tried to plug it in, but it wouldn't plug in. And I just could feel her energy around me. And I could just feel her love and her light. And I know that she's here and maybe she's came back in another light, but I know that energy is omnipresent. And I invite you, my beautiful soul sisters, that if you've lost somebody that you really love, that maybe you could bring up their energy and all of the goodness and all of the light about that person and just welcome it into your heart and know that our hearts, our light, the love within us, it's never dying. It's never changing. Sometimes it changes, like when our ego gets involved, but this love, when you think of that person, it's like it's always here. And when you're open to allowing it in, because again, like there can be like that sadness feeling. Like my husband and I, we went to our funeral of our friend last week. I don't know if I shared about that yet. And that was just like so freaking sad and so surreal. Our friend was 45 years old and it was a lovely service and her energy was so there. There was like this point in the service where it was in this huge room with these big open windows. I don't know if I shared this, but I'm going to share it again on last week's podcast. And these big open windows, and you could just see the sun shining, and there's this beautiful huge pine tree, and I could just feel her energy. I think I did share this, but I'm sharing it again. I could just feel her light and her love in the room just shining on everyone. And there was like so many people in that room. Like that room was filled with so much love for this beautiful soul, Kim. And but it is still, there's like this sadness. Like I just kept having these moments where I would like see people I hadn't seen in years and just like sob and bawl, like just eyes tearing up and welling up, because then you look over and you like see the pamphlet in your hand of like a friend that you knew and had many memories with. And it's just like, wow. And just like that message of that pastor. And he was like, what are you doing with your life? This is just one of those moments that we're so busy doing all the things, like even as a mom, like doing and cleaning and cooking and ordering and blah, 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 blah. Stop. Like, what are you doing with your life? And I think of that too. And it's like, what imprint do I want to make on my life? Like, am I being my best self? But sometimes, like this morning when I first woke up, I was feeling like I had a great morning. And then my husband and I had this like little tussle. I did all this ordering for his company's gear, and I went a little overboard apparently, and I spent way too much money, and he got mad at me that I didn't communicate it with him. And then he like yelled at me, and I was like, why are you always yelling at me about things? Like, I just feel like a lot of times my husband is just like micromanaging me. And it's like, I feel like when things go so good with my husband and I, then this shit comes up. And it's like, especially this time of year, like this weird, it's this very specific energy that arises, very specific energy that arises. And I think next week I'm going to share, in my audio book that is not quite ready. I just have to finish a few things on it, but I'm going to share, I had this like, I don't know if I shared it in my book. Maybe I'll just read it separately, but I had this like energy attack where I felt like I was dying after my husband and I got into this huge fight, and I wrote about it, and it was really liberating. But it was interesting because it was probably like 5 years ago, and I felt that same energy come up today. And I know that stuff like that comes up with people in our lives because we have to like flip the switch. We have to change the energy surrounding it. We have to change the way we're reacting and responding around the situation. And instead of yelling back at him, I literally just stopped and I just sent him love. But then it was interesting. I was taking the boys to school, and I was just having these like underlying feelings of like, that I wasn't worthy, or that I messed up and I didn't do it right. And it was just like pouring in. And then I dropped the boys off, and it's freezing. It was like 12 degrees, and it's so cold up here, like in the mountains right now. Like it's blistery freezing that I don't even want to go outside. I'm just like hermiting, and then I will like pick up my kids when I need to, or take my kids to their appointments, but I'm not really spending a lot of time outside in nature because it's so cold. Right now I'm looking out the window. But on my way home, it was like I was actually sitting in the car after I had dropped the boys off in the parking lot at the like school space, and I was like, you know what, Shelly, your worth doesn't come from someone else or what they think you did or didn't do right, or what you did or didn't do, or what's right or wrong. And I was like, no, Shelly, I had this inner talk, like, you are worthy and you did a great job. You got, like, with this situation with my husband and his employees and spending all of the money, like, my heart, like, was in the best interest, and all of his employees are going to feel so grateful when they get this package with like 6 of the nicest Carhartt things. Like each of his guys have probably $800 worth of amazing Carhartt gear and Smartwool socks and base layers, and they're going to be warm because it is so cold up here that they need that. And money is awesome and amazing, and it can go and it can flow, but money can always be created, right? That is something that I'm like learning more and more. I've actually been reading that book from Ed Milet called The Power of One More. And he's really teaching me the value of time over the value of money, because something that a lot of us get stuck in is that like poverty mindset that there's not going to be enough money. It's sparse. It always goes. It never comes. But when you can open up that money is always abundant and it's always flowing in, and we have to change our mindset about money, and that it's time that is more of a value than money, because we can always grow money, but we can't grow our time back. And it's like, how do we want to spend these times with our family and the people that we love? And I am feeling this like weird wall of energy with my husband right now. And I am just like being with that. And so maybe for you, my beautiful soul sisters, you can just notice that where are you like shielding your heart from, or who are you shielding it from? Maybe it's your significant other, maybe it's your children, maybe it's your parents or close loved ones, or maybe it's a friend. And it's like we can't cut ties. Like I'm really big into making healthy boundaries with the people that we love. And sometimes it's like making a boundary of like, no, thank you. Like I'm not going to be around you anymore. But for like our closest people, like our children, really, like I have been creating like way firmer boundaries, but it's been really freaking hard. It's hard with my kids, and the older they get, like my 10-year-old is like 15-year-old. He has like 15-year-old energy. Like he is so strong headed and so stubborn, and so am I. Like I get it, and I acknowledge that I can be very stubborn, but I also know that I can be fluid and flexible in my life, like when it needs to happen. But maybe that is one of my superpowers. And I think it's one of my greatest strengths and greatest weaknesses. I always feel like that. It's like sometimes our greatest strength is our greatest weakness. And we just have to like see that lesson from it. Like, and even in these like trying times of like the holidays are here and getting all the things done. But I'm feeling good though about the holidays. How are you feeling? If you are a holiday cheermeister, as the Grinch would say, that part of the Grinch, the like original Grinch with Jim Carrey, the holiday cheermeister. And the Grinch gets fed all these weird puddings, and then he has a giant freak out on everyone. And then he steals Christmas. That's how I feel like my husband gets. He gets very Grinchety because I think it brings up a lot of childhood shit and a lot of shit with his family. And so I think I know a lot of that energy comes up, and I just am like, it's hard after fucking 20 years. It's like, come on, dude. Like, but again, it's like we have to just hold space and be the change we wish to see in the world. Like Gandhi said, like we have to just embody the things that for us, like we can't change people who don't want to change. And that can be hard because I feel like in our society that we are so groomed to like wanting to change people and shift them. But if someone doesn't want to change, you can't fucking change them. And that is like a hard and tough reality. And that's when it comes to our relationships. And it's like, okay, are these things I'm willing to tolerate in this person? Are they? Like, that's a good question to ask in our relationships. Like, does the good outweigh the bad? Are all of these like trying and challenging times like, whoa, what are they teaching us? Like, I think of Milo so hard. Like, I just love him so much. And I got through to some place, if you were listening last week, to do some testing for Milo, and because they're suspecting that he has dyslexia, his teachers are, and Junie does, and apparently it's hereditary. And it is like until July that they have an opening. Like, are you kidding me? So they can't even get him in until the summertime. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm realizing that a lot of like challenging energy with Milo is probably because it's freaking hard at school, and he just like doesn't know how to process it. And he's like such a tougher outer. Like he tells me all the things because I'm one of his safe people, but I can guarantee that he is not like telling his teacher that he's not understanding things or that he can't read things. He just pretends like he can. And like that sucks. It makes me feel sad. But his teacher has an awareness now. So again, it's like these challenging times and these challenging moments, and whether it's, I know that you're having challenging times. Like we all have experiences in the same but different ways, but the same. Like it's like through parallel universes. I know so many times like my soul sisters or my sisters or other friends are struggling. And I'm like, that's so interesting because I struggle a lot with that in a different way. And hi, hi, hi. And it's like this time of year, and I know all of the things can pile up, and it can feel like sometimes I feel like the holidays can whiz by, and sometimes it's like they take forever to get here. And I'm like halfway in the middle of that. But I'm feeling good because I do have all of my Christmas shopping and birthday shopping because Junie's birthday is 4 days after Christmas. And I've kind of made this tradition where I have my kids help me wrap their siblings' gifts and we wrap each other's gifts and we have them under the tree. And I'm like, okay, that is feeling good. But it's like Christmas is not all about presents, but it is a highlight for my kids. And it is just like finding that balance of fitting in all the things that are important. And really, I feel like what's important is just like spending time with my family. And I love watching Christmas movies and snuggling up on the couch. And like that's what we've been doing. And I love listening to Christmas music. And Milo has been so like, I'm so sick of Christmas music because his dad says shit like that. And it's like, come on, just stop it, embrace it. Like, again, we have 10 days left. After these 10 days, we're not going to have Christmas music. And then we won't have it for another year. So just like be with it. Milo is like really into like Ozzy Osbourne and AC/DC and anything crazy music that he can like stick his tongue out and make that like weird hand gesture and he is a tester and a trier. And it's interesting. It's like I feel like Milo's energy is Rex's, my husband's energy, like amplified. And it's like directly at me. And I am just like, I have to be open to like experiencing this energy and not responding because lately I've been really responding. I feel like I get really triggered and I like am a short fuse and it's probably not my best self. And even like this morning I was feeling so crappy and I came home and the house is like I feel like I'm always cleaning and then it's just trash. So like okay, just stop. And I know that when my house is feeling flustery like that, then I'm feeling flustery. So I'm like, I'm going to put my energy and attention in cleaning and organizing my house because I'm not feeling like cleared and organized within myself. And I need that to transmute from the physical into my like emotional, mental, and energetic self. And it really did. It helped. And then I took a shower. Like I always feel like when I'm feeling crappy and then I stay in my like workout clothes or jammies that I just feel kind of yucky. And then when I actually get in the shower, like there is this amazing energy to that element of water, right? Because it comes from the earth and it does help. It helps to shower and like wash your hair and wash your face and maybe shave. Like I realized it wasn't today, but I realized I hadn't shaved my legs in like a month and I'm like, oh my gosh, like luckily, I have like blondie, but some like dark leg hairs. And my grandma, who passed away, Gigi, she used to get these like really long, like hairs that would poke out. And I looked down, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like Gigi hairy legs right now, which made me smile and laugh a little bit. But then I was like, okay, like take the freaking 10 minutes and shave your legs. Just shave your legs. And then I realized maybe a day later that I looked down and I had missed a patch. And I am not kidding you. Like I had like an inch long worth of like blondie brown leg hair. And it was kind of comical. I'm like, okay, that is what happens when we neglect to take care of ourselves or just like don't take the time. And I know that when I am kind of in those like downer moods, I won't shower or put on makeup. And then it's like when I do take days to get myself presentable or just like feel good about what I'm wearing and like take time to acknowledge myself and be like, Shelly, you are worthy of getting ready for the day. Like put on some makeup, brush your hair, curl your hair. Lately, I've been using this triple barrel. It's like from the Bedhead brand. It's a triple barrel curling iron. And I love it when I curl my hair like that. Like it takes me probably 20 minutes, but I can get it to last like at least 5 days, sometimes a week if I push it. And I feel like it makes me feel pretty and it makes me feel good. because I went through this stage where when I stopped doing hair, now I'm like thinking crazy. That was like 4 years ago that I stopped doing hair, almost 5 years ago. I did hair for 14 years. And I went through this phase where I was like, I am not curling my hair. I'm not getting ready. And I was in a yoga teacher training where like none of the women wore makeup and they just wore like kind of messy ponytails or just whatever hair that they had. And now I'm like, you know what? Like that is awesome. I think there's a great time to be like natural and all of that, but I do feel better when I take time to just like take care of myself because I take care of my heart. I take care of my body by practicing yoga. And then it's so important also to take care of your body and like love yourself, right? How often do you actually love yourself? Like, does it actually happen? Do you actually take time to like do things that are nurturing and loving to you? And I was like kind of in this mix of like, oh, I don't need to look a certain way because I love myself for who I am. Well, we can find balance between that and love ourselves for who we are and not get so obsessed with the way we look, but we can also like take care of the way we look because this is our vessel. This is our body. This is our one body in this life. And the universe has given you this very exact body, this very exact face and hair and skin and eyes and lips and nose and butt and boobs and feet and this body for a reason. Like this is the body you need to experience. And it's so important to embody that and honor our vessel and acknowledge her and love her. Because I know as a woman, like it's really hard with body image and the images that we see of models and actresses and all of the stuff that we see on the big screen. And it's really distorting of our body image and what really, like, what is body image? And like, I know that when I was a little girl, it was all about being skinny. Like, you want to be skinny, you don't want to be fat. And I always thought was fat and I had a fat stomach. And like I stored all of my weight in my stomach and I was very self-conscious and I had a birth parent and she would always like comment on our weight and call us fat and it was very shaming of our body. And I realized that it was because at the time she was really overweight and it was just her way of probably making herself feel better and it was hard as a kid. And I have two of my sisters who really have like they're doing way better, but they struggle with body image and saying unkind things about their body. And now this is like so sad. Like I didn't adopt that like negative body image. I think a little bit about my stomach, but honestly through the past like 5 years I have been doing so much work with affirmations and my thoughts around my body image. And it's so important like to notice what you think about your body when you're looking in the mirror. And I wrote about this in my book, Awaken You, if you've read it or not. It's like to just like take a moment. Like there's so many moments of stillness where we're with ourselves. Like, what are your thoughts racing about when you're looking in the mirror? Maybe after you go pee and you're looking in the mirror, washing your hands. Are you looking in the mirror and degrading your eyes, your skin, your hair, your lips, your but your body? Are you like shaming yourself because you were shamed as a kid? It happens a lot and it's a programming. And this is the coolest thing about our minds and our programming is that anything can be changed. Like we can choose to change anything by rewiring the thoughts that we're thinking. And it has to go hand in hand with rewiring our thought process and then also actually feeling that belief as something that we believe to be true about ourselves. So one of the affirmations that I have said to myself and I say to myself is I love my strong fit body. I love my strong fit core. And even if I'm not feeling that confident, I like imagine my core like strong and fit instead of that programming of like a fat, fluffy stomach and whatever negative programming. Like even about like, think of teeth. Like I was thinking of teeth because I got braces for my kids and my son was like, I don't want braces. And I was like, oh, buddy, well, if you can get braces when you're a kid, it's going to be less invasive. And if this is something that I can do to help you in your life, something as simple as teeth, and not that it matters hugely, but it does feel good to feel good about your teeth because I know my oldest sister is, I'm trying to think of how old is she? 43. She turned 43 this year. And I got braces. My sister Jenny did, and Amy did. But my oldest sister, did not get braces. And I don't know what it was, why she didn't, but she didn't. But now she has Invisalign. And I remember she would always cover her teeth and just feels really self conscious about her teeth. And I can tell now, like, the Invisalign is literally like transforming and changing her mouth. And even with the Invisalign, it's like these invisible retainers that like click on like buttons on your teeth. Like I can see her whenever I do see her, like she's like smiling and being more confident, and she's 45 and that's like just happening. So it's like if there's something small that maybe even might be a financial investment, like invest in it for yourself. Like I'm not saying go get like Botox and liposuction and a tummy tuck. Like if that is what you feel called to, like I'm saying, like take care of yourself. Do things that make you feel good about yourself. And many years ago, I used to watch like so much TLC. I remember it was like this channel, I don't TLC, and they had like a wedding story and a baby story and a makeover story. Did you ever watch those? I used to like be such a couch potato back in the days. I did. I loved those shows. And I remember the makeover story, and maybe even there's like, is that the Queer Eye for the straight? Wait, Queer Eye? You know which show I'm talking about with the gay guys who do makeovers? So freaking hilarious, but so like good. And I can't remember which makeover show, blah, blah, story or show I'm talking about, but it was like, it doesn't matter what shape your body is or anything like that. It's like you can make over yourself exactly the way that you are. And they would pick clothes that would make the person just like feel like a movie star and feel amazing about themselves. And it was all just like all about just like switching and altering a few things. And that's what I'm getting at is like our body image and what we think about ourselves. Like we can truly choose to love and accept ourselves and nurture ourselves just the way we are while we work at being a better self. And like I was saying, like my programming, which most of us, I think our programming was to be skinny. Oh my gosh, you want to be skinny and you want to have a flat stomach. And it's like, no, you freaking don't. You want to be healthy. You want to feel healthy and you want to like love yourself for who you are. And this whole like concept of being skinny makes me feel like freaking crazy because if you really knew the anatomy of the body, like I have been to a cadaver lab and seen the inside of two cadavers, which is people who have donated their body to science after they passed away. I went as a part of my yoga teacher training. Like we have so many organs and bodily functions inside. Like our stomach is meant to take up space. And when you breathe, like a very healthy fluid breath. Like try it with me. Breathe, put your hand on your belly actually, and breathe a big breath into your belly. Feel your stomach grow. It really needs to grow 1 to 2 inches and then exhale and let it deflate. Do that a few times. Inhale with a hand on the belly. Grow your tummy, feel it grow. Exhale, do that one more time. Inhale, grow, 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 grow. Make a big, beautiful Buddha belly. And exhale. And right, like breath, it grows our belly. And I remember as a girl always having my hand on my tummy or always crossing my arms over my tummy. Or if I was sitting on the couch, like putting a pillow over my stomach. And it's like, why? Why were we taught that? Well, I mean, we were, and that is like the old story that maybe we can play. And now it's time to rewire it with those like new positive thoughts. And so I'm feeling very inspired if you have checked out because Awaken You Healing Center with Shelly is back up and running. Thank goodness. Thank you, universe. And I did make a morning gratitude practice that's on there available for free right now that you can listen to. And that's like a great way to start your morning. And I'm going to be creating a practice for self-confidence and self-worth, and then also a prosperity, like reprogramming. And so the whole goal of me helping make these affirmations are first for myself, because we have to first help ourselves. And I think that it's so important to choose the thoughts that we're thinking, especially first thing in the morning and before we go to bed. And I've been plugging in these affirmations so you can do it too. And they're really good. They turned out really professional and awesome. Thank you to Canva. I love Canva. I do their professional channel, not professional channel, but like the professional or premium. I don't know how much it's like. It's not that much. It's maybe like $4.99 a month. And I didn't realize you can make videos, and I make my thumbnails, and I do my podcast covers and things for my social media, and it's really helpful. But anyways, from Canva, I made this awesome video, and now I'm like feeling really excited and really inspired to help bring more positive affirmations to the world. And I think of like 9 years ago when I first thought of that you can actually choose your thoughts. I was like, huh? You can choose your thoughts? No, you can't. Thoughts just are things that come. They're just in there. That's how my kids think, except for Junie. She's very wise. But no, thoughts are things that you can choose. Affirmations. Some call it auto-suggestion. That is from, if you've ever read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I read that book like 9 years ago. I haven't read it in a long time. He calls affirmations auto-suggestion. So affirmations are words that we affirm to ourselves, that we say to ourselves. Or in yoga, it's mantra. In mantra, a lot of times we do Sanskrit. So maybe a good mantra that you know or you've practiced with me before is Om. 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 Om is a powerful mantra. Om is said to be the sound of creation, the sound that started everything. And it's this positive vibration that shifts your energy, it shifts your frequency, and really does. I feel like, oh, why didn't I Om? If we Om'd every time we were feeling shitty and had a hard time, it works. I've literally done it. And so affirmations, so Sanskrit mantra is said to be like a frequency shift, and affirmations are said to be a vibrational shift. I can feel it. I can like, even just like doing those 3 ohms, and know that you don't have to be a singer to mantra. You don't have to even like know the proper Sanskrit. And I know that that's something for me that like detoured me for a while is Sanskrit is tricky. Like a lot of the asana, which is the movement portion of yoga, it's really tricky to say it correctly. And I know that I felt very intimidated by it when I first started. And even still, like 5 years later, and I'm in this training and we're learning all these myths of yoga, and there's all of these different deities and their names are like super tricky. But what I'm learning is it doesn't matter, it's your intention behind it. So even if you hear like a beautiful like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, that's Om Namah Shivaya, that you can just with your intention, even if you're like, your intention to just align with the energy, with the vibration, with the frequency of that it literally can help. It can help a lot. And I know that like this time of year is a lot of hype and it's exciting. Christmas is almost here, and then it's the new year. And then I will always remember that when I was with the team, we had this team called the Life Loves You Project. Maybe you've heard me talk about it. And we would go into our children's elementary school, and we came up with a program to help kids with mindfulness and breath awareness and confidence and thought awareness, all of these beautiful practices. And it was like after the new year, and this one girl raised her hand and she said that after the holidays, she just feels empty. She's like, I just feel empty. It's like so exciting for Christmas and New Year's. And then now it's like my house is empty and boring, and I just feel empty and bored inside. And I feel like there's nothing to look forward to. And I really encourage us to like be with the excitement and the rides and the rushes and the waves. And also after the season of the holidays, it's like, if that emptiness comes, like I know that when I feel like take down my tree and all the decorations I've literally had up since like the second week of November, it feels like clean and fresh, but then it feels like, it does. Like, and then we're still in those really dark, cold months, and it's really like that time for wintering. Like, this is the time of wintering. Like, we are here. We are in the wintering. We are actually, it's the 21st is the winter solstice. So we are just like under a week away from actual, like the start of the solstice, which will be the darkest day of the year. I'm pretty sure here up in Estes, it'll be like 4:30 and it will be complete pitch black darkness. And it lasts for a really long time. And it's like, how can we just like be with that emptiness? No, it's a challenge, but it's like we just have to like ride all of these waves because like there is a reason why like each of these emotions comes to us, each of these feelings comes to us, and it's up to us whether we choose to open, embrace, embody, allow, accept them, or push them down. And the more we push down, it's like that saying, the more we resist things, the more it persists. And it's so freaking true. And so I was thinking of our self-care practice for today. And when I was having that yucky, like last night, I was like, feeling all those yucky things. And I was laying in my bed and I was saying my gratitude practice. And then I closed my eyes and I put my hand on my heart. And so maybe you can try this practice with me. Just close your eyes and just take a moment to settle in. And we're going to do just a little like self-love practice for yourself, because you can't love anyone if you don't love yourself properly. You can't show up for anyone if you don't show up for yourself. And so here, maybe if you're driving, you can keep your eyes open and you can just mantra or affirm this with yourself. Or if you can, maybe just like if you can find a comfortable seat, maybe a crisscross applesauce, or in a comfortable chair, maybe with your feet on the earth. Or I know I like to practice with my legs crisscross applesauce. Or maybe you want to lay down, because laying down is really powerful for this. And just allow yourself to feel the beat of your heart, to bring the awareness to the inhale of your breath, to bring your awareness to the exhalation of the breath. And with that awareness, a mantra with me: I love you. I love you. Inhale, I forgive you. Exhale, I forgive you. Inhale, I am grateful for you. Exhale, I am grateful for you. Inhale, thank you. Inhale, I love you. I forgive you. I am grateful for you. Thank you. I forgive you. I forgive you. Breathe forgiveness in. Give yourself permission in this moment to offer forgiveness really deep within your heart to yourself. Offering forgiveness to all those perhaps you have harmed, to all of those ill moments. Forgive yourself for all of your hurtful words or hurtful actions that you have bestowed upon others. Almost like a magical blink. You can forgive all of that here in this moment. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I love you. I forgive you. I am grateful for you. Thank you. And just take a moment and just bring your palms, kissing palms, to your heart in a Namaste mudra. And really honor and acknowledge that love and that light that grows, that's ever omnipresent within you. And today being open to acknowledging and honoring that within everyone that you greet today. And that even if you are around somebody who you have struggles and challenges with, that here you just send them love. You send that person love. right now. Just tap in. Whoever you're having quarrels with or yucky thoughts or weird energy, send that person love. Send them forgiveness and send them love. And forgiveness does not mean that it discounts or negates anything that this person has caused you harm to. It doesn't take it away or justify it. Forgiveness is for you, for deep within your heart, deep within your spirit. I love you. Namaste. Just take a moment and breathe, your eyes open, and just feel how that feels. I really, within myself, can find this like profound shift when I practice forgiveness, when I actually say it. And even if sometimes I feel like it can be really hard to say, I forgive you. And sometimes we don't even need to know why we forgive ourselves. I know a lot of the times lately I have been offering myself forgiveness when it comes to parenting because I'm like, I'm messing up. I'm doing it wrong. And then I just have to forgive it. And I have to know, and you have to know this too, my beautiful soul sister, that we're all just doing the best that we can. And even sometimes our best is ugly and gross and perfectly imperfect. But that's how life is. Because as a perception, we're always judging and labeling good or bad, or I'm doing this right, or I'm doing this wrong, or I've succeeded, or I failed. But what if really in the eyes of the universe, none of that existed? What if everything really just like was? What if we just allowed things to just be what they were? What if that would be like a whole new land if we removed all of those labels and judgments? I could like imagine that. Could you imagine what the world would be like? It'd be a whole different place. But in this physical realm, in this life today, on December 15th, 2022, that's today, that's crazy, that there are judgments and there are labels, and this ego that beats, that breathes within us, that is part of us, but also part of us is soul, is spirit, is love, is light. And even if we don't know the purpose of our ego, we don't know the purpose of those unkind thoughts, those unkind words or unkind visions that we bestow upon ourselves and others. But there is a purpose. The universe gave us this ego. And I know that when I first started practicing yoga, it was like, yes, I am going to be enlightened like tomorrow. And then my first yoga practice, I was like, or first meditation practice, and then third and fourth and seventh and 10th and 12th and blah, 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 blah. 9 years later, it's like my goal of being enlightened was really unrealistic. And I really do resonate with what Eckhart Tolle says is enlightenment is here in this present moment. It's those moments where you're just like here, you're present, you're totally submerged here. And that's when all anxiety, all overwhelm, all fear dissipates because nothing else matters. Like, have you had those moments, or do you know people like that? I know that I have so many soul sisters where it's like all time, space, and reality falls away, that I'm so with them and it just is. Or I'll have those like miraculous moments with my kids where I'm so present and so grateful. And you know, those moments really like, they're not when I'm like taking my kids out to do all the things or buying them things. It's usually when I'm like laying in bed and holding them and just like listening to their little voices and kissing them and singing them songs. And it's like, those are my favorite moments usually of the day. Those are my favorite moments when I'm just like so submerged and I can just feel so much love from them. And just like this, like, this is it. Like, this is what life is about. These, not all of that, not all of the problems in the world and the fear and the fighting and the arguments and the blah, 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 blah bullshit and the anxiety like that we create. This was like really beautiful. I'm like winding down my teacher training, and one of the classes was about like letting go and surrender. And in those moments when we can truly allow ourselves to let go and surrender, we can really realize at a deeper level that there was really nothing to hold on to. Really? Like there was nothing. Like we were holding on to something, this like invisible energy, this invisible fear. And that's what fear is. It's invisible. Like, can you see fear? No, you feel it. We create it. We create fear within ourselves. And it also, in our today's day and age, it's so created by media, social media, by the news. And so protect your vessel, protect your mind. Your mind is your biggest asset. Like, your mind is yours and it's no one else's. And no one can penetrate your mind unless you allow them to. And that's why I make super strong boundaries with like the news and the information that I let come into my mind. Like I'm like, no, thank you, news. Like when something big happens, yeah, I want to like catch up a little bit, but you can get so caught up in that rabbit hole of negativity that no. So instead of that, choose positive affirmations. And when you're struggling, choose those practices, that beautiful practice. And it's as simple as saying, I love you. I forgive you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. And that's my own version. I heard a practice like that. It was about 2 years ago from a soul sister. And it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I needed to forgive myself. Like, it's okay. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You deserve forgiveness. If anyone in the whole universe deserves forgiveness, it's you. It's you here in this moment. If there's one gift that you could give yourself for Christmas, for the holiday season, for the new year, one vow that you could give yourself, something that would help you for the highest good of the new year of 2023 coming up, it would be to forgive yourself. When we can forgive ourselves, it literally just like transforms, transmutes, and it just like, because that's our inner work. And when we put forgiveness into our hearts, we can put forgiveness into the world. And forgiveness is like one of those like high vibrational emotions that is a gateway towards love. We have to forgive. Forgive here first. Forgive here first because you deserve it. I love you, my beautiful soul sisters, and know that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of thinking positive thoughts about your body. You are worthy of loving your body just the way it is right here in this moment while you work at bettering it. So maybe you can think of when it comes to your body image, like, you know, right away, like what are those negative thoughts that you think about yourself, about maybe your looks, your eyes, your nose, your lips, your ears, your teeth, your tongue, your chin, your chest, your butt, your legs, your booty, your hips, your belly, whatever it is, whatever that negative thing is, send that space so much love and send yourself those positive thoughts of thinking, I love my strong, fit body. I love my healthy body. What would it look for like for you in this new year to be a healthier you? To be a healthier, stronger, and fitter version of yourself. And then perhaps maybe you could think of ways, like what are like a few things that you could do that could help you reach that goal? Would it be maybe that you could wake up and drink clean water for yourself? Maybe would it be that you could, instead of eating out, you could make a really healthy, mindful meal for yourself and for your family? Would it be what would it be? What would it look like? Would it be that maybe you would take a walk, a couple walks a week, or one walk? Start with one walk. Maybe it would be that you could take one yoga class a week. And if you are open, I have so many amazing yoga classes on Awaken You Healing Center with Shelly on YouTube. And you can just turn on a class. You can even, nowadays it's so crazy, you can just turn on a yoga class from your phone. That's so weird and cool. You can take a yoga class anywhere, like in your bedroom, in your living room. Maybe you need to hide away somewhere. I would say outside if you live in like a beautiful place. I know my beautiful soul sister and her daughters are living in Florida. So get your butt outside, Melody, in your sunroom, and Alicia, and do your yoga practice. Take time to stretch your body into a healthier you. I love you so much. And I'm so grateful for this time and this space that we have created. And I really I send you that ability to be open to forgiving yourself because you freaking deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. I love you. Please head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and a review. It means the universe to me. I love watching this space grow. And please share this with one person, with one beautiful woman that you feel like she could use this message. Share it with her, and perhaps maybe she'll share, and it will be like this beautiful growing spider web that we are creating good and shifting for the highest good in the world. I love you, and you can follow me on Facebook, Shelly Bond, Instagram, Awaken You, Shelly Bond. And also, if you would love to, I would love to hear from you. To email awakenyoushelleybond@gmail.com any ideas or suggestions or just more of what you want to hear about. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And deep breaths. Forgiveness is here when you allow it to be.